I've been a little bit obsessed with international eSIMs lately, and in this Airalo review, I give their service a hardcore test drive to see how their data works in different countries. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to use Airalo eSIMs to get affordable data on your phone all around the world in about 60 seconds. But more importantly, I'll share what I liked and what I didn't like about the service. This video is brought to you by Airalo, but I tested the heck out of their service for 5 months in Bulgaria, Turkey, Israel, and Colombia, and as you'll see, all opinions are completely my own. At the end, I'll even do an extreme test to see if the internet works while floating around in the Dead Sea. Could Airalo be the best travel eSIM provider out there? Let's take a look-see. So for anyone new to Airalo and travel eSIMs, they basically save the hassle of two frustrating problems. One, expensive international data roaming charges, and two, having to hunt down a physical SIM card when you arrive at your destination. The best eSIM providers allow you to have data ready on your phone as soon as you land in your destination. No more hassle finding internet to call an Uber from the airport or trying to find your hotel without data. No more issues trying to figure out how to buy a SIM in a different language and keeping track of all those tiny little cards. And no more opportunities for SIM card scams like what happened to us in Cambodia and Egypt. In theory, it's super convenient, but let's take a look at what it actually looks like in practice. There are lots of these travel eSIM companies popping up, but they are not all created equal. I've tested out quite a few of them so far, and here is how Airalo stacks up. So here's how to set up Airalo eSIMs in about 60 seconds. First, go to airalo.com or download the app on your phone. Then search for your destination and trip length. You can choose local, regional, or global with 200 plus countries and regions to choose from. Local would be if you're just visiting one country. Regional is useful if you're planning to take a trip all around one region, like for example, all over Europe. And global is the handiest if you're going to do a round the world trip. Note that regional and global cover many countries, but they don't necessarily cover every single country in a region, so it's best to make sure your destination is on the list. Step 2 is to make sure your device is eSIM compatible and carrier unlocked. Step 3 is to buy a plan, then carefully follow their installation instructions to set it up. Here's what it looks on an iPhone, and it should be similar on an Android. First, you go to the Airalo app, go to My eSIMs, Details, and then Install eSIM Access Data. From there, you're going to make sure you read the instructions carefully. You need to tap Install eSIM, then add cellular plan, then label your eSIM. I usually like to use the name of the country. From there, set your preferred line for calls and messages and iMessage and FaceTime. And after that, you need to choose your Airalo eSIM as your default line for cellular data and do not turn on allow cellular data switching. Then go back to your cellular settings, select your Airalo eSIM and turn this line on. Finally, go back to the details page for your eSIM in the Airalo app to make sure there aren't any other settings that you need to change. The exact settings can vary slightly depending on which eSIM you have, so you have to read these directions carefully. But after that, bam, you'll have working data on your phone when you arrive at your destination. You can do this process in the airport when you arrive, or some of these eSIMs allow you to set it up at home right before you leave. If you set it up beforehand, it will connect once you reach your destination. Using the app is the best way to add your plan, but you can also add it by scanning a QR code or pasting the eSIM info in manually by going to Settings, Cellular, and Add Cellular Plan. Again, all of these instructions are super clear on the eSIM details page, either on the app or on the website. So now you know how to set it up. Here's how it actually works. Overall, Airalo data worked everywhere I went in these 4 countries with one exception, and that was actually my fault, but more on that in a second. Tethering data also worked like a charm when we had crappy internet at our accommodation and I had to do some work online. This makes it a perfect option for digital nomads. It's also handy that you can easily top up your plan right within the Airalo app if you ever run out of data. That said, I wouldn't call it blazing fast internet speeds, at least in my case. But it was always more than enough to get the job done, which is really all that matters. Before buying, you can check if you're going to get 4G, LTE, or 5G in the additional information section for the eSIM you're looking at. Another small gripe I had was that Google Maps would sometimes freeze. I often had to close out of the app and restart it to get the directions to load. It's not the end of the world, but it's a little bit of a hindrance when you're trying to look up directions to a bunch of different places at the same time. After doing research for this video, it turns out this is actually a known issue for iOS, and there's an easy fix. Just go to your eSIM settings and make sure that limit IP address tracking is turned off. One other important takeaway is that you have to be really careful when setting your eSIM up. As I showed you earlier, it's pretty simple once you know what you're doing to get your data up and running in a minute or two. But if you're a little bit careless or distracted or rushing to get it done really fast, like I was before crossing a land border, then it's easy to make little mistakes. When we crossed the border into Turkey, I went a full week complaining to my wife how slow Airalo was in Turkey compared to Bulgaria. Finally, I took a closer look at the instructions page I was telling you about, and it turns out I forgot to toggle on one of the configurations. As soon as I turned it on, everything started working normally again. Okay, now let's take a trip to the Dead Sea for the ultimate Airalo travel eSIM data speed test. Then I'll wrap it up by sharing what I discovered about Airalo's prices compared to competitors.
Okay, moment of truth, testing out Airalo in the Dead Sea. We're in airplane mode here. Connecting. Look at that, 4 bars, LTE in the Dead Sea. Nice.
It's working. Why don't you call your mom?
Call my brother.
Hello?
I'm actually taking a poop right now. Can you go under? Like, can you swim down and then you just rise back up?
I'll try.
Careful! Put the phone!
Oh, my eyes!
Airalo is also super handy because if your phone has dual eSIM compatibilities, you can continue receiving calls and SMS messages to your home phone number while you're traveling. The ability to receive these SMS messages is huge for me because sometimes my banks send me verification codes that I need to access my accounts. This is the best setup that I've found to make sure that I receive those codes. In general, Airalo's prices seem to be more affordable than the competition in the 4 different countries that I researched, but I can't speak for every single country. Overall, Airalo travel eSIMs can save you time, money, and headaches. They give you instant access to affordable data so that you can hit the ground running on your trip. For even more clever ways to save money traveling, check out this playlist next, jam-packed of our best cheap travel hacks. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.